Daniel was a young man driven by the standard milestones of success. He was a hard worker, focused on securing his future. But his reality quickly fractured. He lost his job, his savings vanished, and soon he struggled to secure his next meal. He reached a breaking point one night, sitting alone in the dark outside his house. Out of options and out of time, he whispered a plea to the sky, asking Jesus to show him a way out. He was looking for the kind of intervention that matches the scale of the crisis. He expected a sign that parted the clouds, a sudden, unmistakable rescue that would fix his life in a single stroke. But the outcome was absolute silence. No voice answered from the stars. No sudden windfall appeared. The night stayed dark, and his situation remained exactly as it was. When life breaks down, we naturally look for a grand rescue. And when that spectacular fix fails to arrive, the common conclusion is that the silence is proof of being forgotten. This diagram maps out the two paths we expect intervention to take. Our default model assumes a straight line from despair to a sky-parting rescue. But as Daniel saw, that path often leads to a dead end. We have to ask if the silence he heard was actually abandonment, or if it was simply the start of a different process we don't yet recognize. Despite his belief that he had been forgotten, Daniel made a specific choice the next morning. He didn't wait for the sky to change. He picked up his bag and went back out to look for work. Before the breakthrough happens, there's a period where you must move without knowing the destination. It's the choice to take a step even when the horizon looks empty. Daniel's job hunt was a series of rejections. He walked from one shop to the next, hearing the same no at every turn. By evening, he was exhausted and had not eaten all day. As he walked home, he saw an elderly woman struggling to carry a heavy basket along the road. At this moment, Daniel was at his most vulnerable. He had no money and no energy, yet he stopped his own journey to carry the weight for someone else. When they reached her home, the woman had nothing of value to offer him. She searched her house and passed him a single piece of bread, the last of what she had. This small exchange of mutual sacrifice occurred on a quiet road, away from any grand spectacle. This was the moment Daniel realized that while he was looking for a miracle in the sky, a response had arrived in his hands. Across the road, Daniel saw Jesus standing peacefully. He recognized him instantly. Daniel asked why his dreams had been taken away. Jesus explained that the difficult road wasn't there to destroy him, but to build the strength he would need for what came next. This loop shows how change actually gains momentum. It rarely starts with a massive event. It begins with a small act of kindness, which leads to a micro-opportunity, which then builds the internal strength to keep moving. This reframes the night Daniel spent in silence. That single piece of bread was the specific answer to his prayer, delivered through a human interaction rather than a celestial one. Hope requires a partnership. We find the way forward by remaining open to the small, seemingly minor moments where we can offer or receive grace. The next day, Daniel's posture changed. He walked into a small shop, not with the weight of despair, but with a quiet confidence. He secured a job and committed himself to it. Over the following weeks, he earned the owner's trust, stabilized his finances, and began to pull his family out of their difficult season. He sustained this change by continuing to help others. Whenever he had extra, he shared it. He realized that hope only stays alive when it is put into practice. Daniel eventually returned to the same road where he had first felt so abandoned. He stood under the same stars, but this time he spoke with gratitude. Jesus appeared to him again. When Daniel thanked him for saving him, Jesus clarified the nature of the help he provided. He didn't walk the road for Daniel. He provided the strength Daniel needed to take the first step himself. A miracle is not always an escape from a hard situation. Often it is the courage to get up after a fall and the resolve to try one more time. You might be in a season where the doors are closed and your prayers seem to go unanswered. But remember the pattern we've seen. Silence doesn't mean you are forgotten. A closed door is not a signal to stop. You don't need to see the entire path ahead. You only need enough faith to take the next immediate step. Significant transformation rarely comes from a sudden burst of magic.
It comes from the small, quiet steps you take while you are still waiting for the sun to rise. You are not walking this road alone.